the Clockmaker's secret. In the heart of the sprawling megacity of Caldera, where neon lights shimmered through a perpetual haze of smog, an unassuming clock shop nestled between towering skyscrapers. Its proprietor, Ezra Calen, was a master clockmaker known for crafting intricate timepieces unlike anything in the galaxy. But Ezra's true masterpiece was hidden in the depths of his workshop, a machine that defied the laws of time. Ezra wasn't just a clockmaker, he was a time weaver. For decades, Ezra had worked in secrecy, perfecting the Chronos Engine, a device capable of glimpsing into the folds of time. Unlike the chaotic visions of time travel seen in legends, the engine revealed fragments of what was to come, stitching together threads of possibility. Ezra used it sparingly, aware of the dangers of meddling too deeply. But then came the whispers. The first time Ezra heard them, he dismissed them as a trick of the mind. Faint voices, almost musical, emanated from the engine when it was idle. Over the weeks, they grew louder, forming words that spoke directly to him. The clock is breaking. He ignored the warnings until the visions began. While repairing a client's broken timepiece, Ezra glimpsed a fracture in the timeline. A city in flames, its towering skyscrapers crumbling into ash, and a single figure standing amidst the chaos. A young girl holding a mechanical device with a clock face. Ezra knew he had to act. He activated the Chronos Engine, delving deeper into the vision. He saw flashes of events yet to unfold. A corporate war brewing in the shadows, experimental technology spiraling out of control, and the mysterious girl at the center of it all. The visions revealed her name, Kael, an orphan living in the underbelly of Caldera. The next morning, Ezra locked up his shop and descended into the labyrinth of the lower levels, where sunlight never reached. He found Kael scavenging for parts in an abandoned factory. She was wary at first, but something about Ezra's calm demeanor and knowledge of her strange clockwork device put her at ease. Kael revealed that she had found the device months ago in a derelict lab. She didn't know what it did, only that it hummed with energy and sometimes seemed to talk to her. Ezra examined it and realized it was a fragment of the Chronos Engine, its twin, built long ago by a rival who had sought to control time rather than observe it. Together they pieced together the truth. The rival machine, known as the Tempus core, was incomplete, and its instability threatened to unravel the timeline. The corporation that had funded its creation, Vanguard Dynamics, was desperate to harness its power, unaware of the destruction it would bring. Ezra and Kael devised a plan. To stabilize the timeline, they needed to destroy the Tempus core, but doing so meant traveling directly into Vanguard's heavily fortified research facility deep within the corporate district. Ezra equipped Kael with a modified version of the Chronos Engine's interface, allowing her to see micro-adjustments in time, just enough to evade security and navigate the labyrinthine facility. For himself, he carried only his tools, knowing that precision would be their greatest weapon. As they infiltrated the facility, Ezra began to feel the strain of the timeline's fractures. Time itself seemed to warp around them. Moments stretched into eternity, while others flickered like failing lights. The whispers returned, louder and more insistent. You cannot fix what is broken. At the heart of the facility, they found the Tempus core, a massive construct of spinning gears and glowing energy. It pulsed erratically, sending waves of distortion rippling through the air. As Kael approached, the device in her hands began to resonate, synchronizing with the core. "Now," Ezra said, guiding her through the delicate process of dismantling the core. But the machine resisted, fighting back with bursts of temporal energy. Ezra shielded Kael as best he could, his own body aging rapidly under the strain. In the final moments, Kael succeeded. The core imploded in a cascade of light, and the timeline stabilized, but Ezra collapsed, his life force drained by the effort. As Kael cradled him, he smiled faintly. "You'll do well, Kael," he whispered. "The timeline is yours now." Before she could respond, he faded, his essence absorbed into the time stream. Kael was left alone, the broken pieces of the Tempus core scattered around her, but in her hands, the Chronos Engine fragment hummed softly, as if waiting. Back in the clock shop, the neon lights of Caldera flickered as Kael stepped inside. She placed the fragment on the workbench, now determined to carry on Ezra's legacy. The timeline was safe for now, but the whispers had not ceased. "The clock is ticking." Kael knew her journey was just beginning.